Hey everybody. Okay, so I'm letting these cards speak for themselves today. Just did a quick 3-card reading. It looks like it may be more, look at all these card pieces here. Sorry. Kind of seems like it's more, this might be about a romantic relationship. It could be about a friendship too. You know, friendships can be close. But I'm thinking like more relationships, romantic, friendship, whichever way it goes, you take it however you take it. Whoever's watching, you're watching for someone in particular. So take it as it's meant to be for you. You know, take only what resonates and leave the rest. I always say it. I always mean it. Okay, I've got a few of the oracle here, but it's turning out to be more of a love reading, I will say. But however it means to you, that's up to you. So this is what I'm getting. I've used my Kawaii deck. You can get it from Five Below, or at least you could. I don't know if they still have it. It's like $5. It's cute, though. But I have the 10 of Wands, the 10 of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles. So we're up there in the numbers. But I feel like with the 10 of Wands, and this looks so cheery, but I feel like there's been a relationship that you've been in, or a friendship, either one. But I'm just going to use the term relationship to cover it all, because it could be friendship or romantic. So there's been a relationship that you've been in that is a burden. The 10 of Wands, you're just carrying it. It's like it's a weight on your shoulders because you're tired of dealing with the person. And this could be like someone that you had a great deal of feelings about, or you really liked, but, you know, maybe things have soured since then. Since the time you've met. I don't know how much time has passed, but for some of you, it might be a long time. For some of you, you met them and you just know right away, like, you're like, okay, yeah, we're not going to get along. I had to get some water, sorry. Apparently ice too. So, this 10 of Wands is telling me that you're kind of dumping it. You're dumping them, or you're tired of carrying it. So you're about to throw it down, set it on fire, and leave it. So, you're ending it. This is going to be an ending for you. You're either wanting to end it or you've already ended it, but it's here. It's showing. So if you're thinking about it, you know, this hopefully will be validation for you and your intuition. It'll be the confirmation you need to make the decision. If you've done it already, well, then you're just watching just to go like, hey, I already did this. Let me see what this is about. So, yes, you want to get rid of this person, or you already have. It's kind of like you decided to just cut the cord and be gone. The relationship didn't work out. The friendship is not working. Whatever, something about it is not working for you. And it might not be working for either of you. So, I feel like you decided, like, you know what? It's in my best interest to get rid of this person. To just, you know, to shed the dead weight. And that way, this leads you to the 10 of Cups. So this is you being happy. This is your emotional fulfillment. And you'd be a lot happier if you were single. And also, this 9 of Pentacles just adds to that, because the 10 of Wands, you know, you're dumping this person. And once you do, like, you're going to be a lot happier with yourself. And I think you're going to be making a lot more bank too. Not that that has to be that, but the 9 of Pentacles also speaks to being single and being free, independent. You know, I don't need anybody kind of person. You could be that person already, and maybe a relationship is just too much for you. It may not be anything they necessarily did. It just might be who you are. Is that you tried the relationship, it's not working. Or maybe it's a friendship that's just asking too much of you. I've been there. There's certain people that come into our lives, and they are maybe too clingy, too needy, too attached, and they want to suck up all of your time. All of your free time is sucked up. They always want to text or to talk on the phone or to be there. Like, it's great. If you wanted to call and talk to somebody every once in a while, that's great. You know, I have nothing against that. I'm talking about the people who want it 24/7. You know, or this person that's like, I have a problem and I'm boo-hooing and I need to call you at 4 a.m. Excuse me, no, I've got to work in the morning. How dare you call me? You know what? Put your phone on silent. Do not listen to that. Like, they cannot just be able to reach you. This is where boundaries are important, people. Set the boundaries. If they violate those boundaries, it's going to be easier to cut them off because you literally can tell them, all right, I'm setting this boundary with you. I'm like, you need to respect my time. If I'm having time with my family, respect it. If I'm having time, to sleep before work, respect my sleep time, respect my time at work. If they can't do that, cut them loose. It's time to burn that kindling. Yeah. Set your rules, set your boundaries. Be firm and assert yourself. Like, this is who I am, this is what I want. If you do not respect my time, then we are no longer friends. We are no longer in a relationship. We're not dating anymore. It is done and over. I get the feeling, I kind of get the feeling that this is not just one-sided, though. I get the feeling like, if you're frustrated because you're not getting what you need, the other person is frustrated because you're not giving them what they need, so they're not getting what they need. And they need someone who's more all about them, more needy, I guess. And that's fine. That's where we got to find the people that, fit into our lives. And people have to earn that. We have to earn our ways into each other's lives, and we have to respect that. You've got friends that you can respect that'll call you up, or if they really had a major issue in the middle of the night, you would be up. Or if you wake up and check your phone and go, oh my gosh, something happened, let me be there for that. You will. But not for that person that's always having drama, that always needs something in the middle of the night. Like, okay, this is like the 4th time in a row that you've done this, and it's like 4 days in a row, and I'm not getting any sleep. I'm not doing well at work. I'm going to get fired if you don't quit calling me. That kind of thing. You've got to take care of yourself first and foremost, so do that. But whatever this relationship is, it's not a two-way street. It's not very mutual. You're not reciprocating to them because they're not respecting you, your boundaries. But on their end, they feel like you're not respecting, you're not reciprocating to them and giving them what they need in a friendship. So it's like they need to go find somebody that can be as needy and attached as they are. But it's going to be hard to do because those types of people want to take all the time. They're going to have to find someone who's willing to put up with that crap, who also, because if they get someone just like them, they're going to butt heads. And you need someone who respects your boundaries and knows that a friendship exists, but you still have to give each other space. So, you know what? Get rid of it. If you haven't already, it's probably time to cut them loose if they're not respecting your boundaries. If you haven't set boundaries, at least talk to them first. Set those boundaries. Like, look, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing this, Like, I need my private time because I like to do things on my own. Like, I want to cook myself a meal, and I might want to watch a movie or read a book. I may want to call and talk to my family or go visit them. Hey, I had a shitty friend, and I'm going to say it. They weren't a real friend because they told me I spent too much time with my family. Except whenever I spent time with them, they were so incredibly jealous about it because when I spent time with them, all they did was bitch and piss and moan about their life. And it was always about their life. It was always about the world revolving around them. It was always complaining about their health and how their family treats them piss poor and their friends don't treat them right. And, how their lovers never treated them right. Their relationships are in the shitter. They complain that work didn't treat them well. It was always someone else's fault. The world was, to blame for their problems. And I could not take that. You have to take some responsibility for yourself. If you want to change, you have to change yourself. If you want changes in your life, you've got to do it. And it's hard for us sometimes because some of us are trying to make little changes, but sometimes we have to make a bigger change too. And this goes directly. I talk to myself with this reading. Like, things aren't the great in my life, but if I want to change, I've got some things I have to change. If I want to be healthier, I've got to change my diet. And it is hard to do because there are other extenuating factors that get involved here, but I will try to work around it if I can, there's going to be some things that have to change if I want my circumstances to change. So, but I have to take responsibility for my role, in my life and the things going on. So it was never any fun hanging out with this so-called friend because, when we did, like, all they wanted to do was they wanted to drink and they just wanted to, It was like a merry-go-round. Their problems just kept going round and around and around. It was like a carousel on fire. It was awful. I kind of liken it to being like a a carousel, if you can picture this. Like a Ferris wheel, I'm thinking like a Ferris wheel going around, but then like, how do you, I can't even do it. It's like a Ferris wheel and then a carousel going in and out of each other. Like, I don't know, it's some kind of weird sciencey looking thing. But if you can picture the carousel going around the Ferris wheel, so one's going up and over and up and over and up and over, and the other's going round and round and round. This was her problem. This was her life. That's what it was like. And it was all on fire and everybody was screaming. That's kind of what it was like to have to sit and listen to her. And I tried every approach I could. I tried listening, just to listen, just to be supportive. Okay. And then I tried, okay, well, you keep bringing up the same problem. So, you try to make a suggestion, or if they ask for advice, you try to give advice, because sometimes that was what they wanted, but they wouldn't listen to it. They wouldn't take it. It's like, why even bother? You just want to tell me all of your problems. And it became such a burden on me that it started to affect me. That attitude, that piss poor attitude and negativity and the bitching and pissing and moaning was draining me to the point where I was feeling physically ill every time I came in contact with this person. And I was starting to have a lot of stress related to it. And I was like, this is not healthy for me. If any of you are going through this right now, if you are feeling this way with that one person in your life that you just can't stand anymore, that you're like, you know what, it's not doing me any good to be around them, cut them off. Because you should never, never feel sick, physically ill, or emotionally ill, or mentally ill. You should never get so stressed out that you're sick from somebody like burdening you with this stuff. Because this person's just piling on these sticks on your back over and over. You can't carry that anymore. Your weight, it's overbearing. You can't do it. You can't move. You're literally just kind of like stuck. It's like they put stones all over you and you just can't get up. You got to break free of that. You got to say, no, enough is enough. Be like, look, I've listened to you and nothing ever changes. And I've tried offering advice and you don't take it. So if you're not going to change your life, then I don't want to hear about it anymore. Be like, you're going to have to find someone else to go and talk to about your problems. Like, you need to go see a shrink, a therapist, a counselor, someone who's paid to do that, because that's the only person that's going to listen to you and listen to you and listen to you. And, I wish I kind of mentioned this, but this is long before I ever got into therapy. And so I would highly recommend therapy now, especially for that person. But it seems like every time they go somewhere, it was because, their parents sent them, and then everything ended up being their fault. But sometimes you have to learn to take some personal responsibility. I'm not saying the other people in her life weren't responsible for their share, just from what I know, but she was just turning out just like them. And I saw her just blaming the world for her problems. So with that in mind, I've got to say, like, don't put up with it. It's not worth it. People have their problems, and it's good to try to help. But if you've tried, offering advice when they've asked, or if you've tried just listening and being supportive, and it's still coming back up like a Ferris wheel carousel on fire with people screaming, it's time to say no. Because I tried every approach, and when it stopped working, I didn't really want to be around her anymore. I prided myself on being a good friend and trying to be there for people, but that tested my patience. It tested my patience. And the day that I was told that I spent too much time with my family, it's like, my family is family. Like, these people birthed me, like, they raised me, like, I'm around them all the time. Some people don't get along with their family. That's fine. I'm not talking about that situation. But I'm like, if you do, someone's telling you can't be around people that you love. What? You want me to spend time with you because you make things worse? Like, her and I got into some absolute screaming matches in each other's faces. Because she absolutely felt like she was right. Like, I don't know if it was narcissism. I don't know, if she was just really delusional or what the deal was. But this person was not a good friend to me. And I don't care what they say. They never knew how to properly communicate. And she ignored my boundaries. When I put boundaries about that, it was like single white female in my house. It was like the door's open for the cats to come and go, and I put something there where it was only open like a little crack so that they could come and go and use the restroom and go eat their food in the kitchen. And I found her staring at me. Like, I rolled over one morning and she's staring an eyeball through the crack, and it freaked me out. Because it's like, I'm sorry, but I'm not dressed. I'm in bed, like, sleeping. Like, I'm at my most vulnerable. I don't want somebody watching me. I felt stalked. I felt like she was stalking me. And as soon as she knew that I was any kind of awake, or, that I accidentally showed my eyes fluttering or anything, she busted up in there and came sat on the bed and was talking to me while I was literally trapped in bed. And I'm like, okay, she trapped me until I could get up and start getting dressed. It's like, I was just like, what the heck? I just wanted to enjoy some peace and quiet that morning. I had, that was like right after we moved in, when they were a roommate, which was another mistake. So it wasn't a good situation, guys. And if you're involved in anything like that, if you are going through that single white female creepy thing, no. Your roommate shouldn't be, bogging you down and burdening you with all the sticks and, the wands. They shouldn't be just like weighing you down. So it's time to set those boundaries. I set boundaries with her and she violated them. I said, hey, we're watching a movie, and she would come up right to my chair and literally shove her belly into me, or like she would lean against the chair and demand my attention without asking me, hey, do you have a minute? No, she wouldn't even say that. She would just stare. And it just got to the point where I'm like, go ahead. And I told my ex to pause the movie. We'd have to stop and deal with her. And it was ridiculous. It's like, if we asked her to watch with us, she would talk through the whole thing. We asked her to have dinner with us a couple of times, and then she came to expect to dinner every single time. It was one of those things where it's like, okay, boundaries are clearly needed. Rules are needed. And I tried to start those, and she fought me every step of the way and didn't respect it. So if they don't respect your boundaries, cut them loose. Cut them loose. Get rid of them. Don't ever talk to them again. Whatever you have to do, just get yourself free. And that way you're going to be much, much happier. You're going to have all this emotional fulfillment. You're like, I'm free. I'm single. I'm on my own. I'm not in that relationship anymore. I'm not with that friend anymore. You can have other friends. You may already have other friends. If that's that one friend that's causing the problem, they're not really a friend if they don't respect you. So cut them loose. You're going to be a lot happier with that 10 of Cups. And then that 9 of Pentacles is going to be you enjoying your peace and quiet. It's not that you can't have friends, but you won't have that person calling you at inappropriate hours, and you'll be able to enjoy every meal. You can go home and just breathe a sigh of relief. Like, oh, listen to that silence. I can read a book. I can watch TV. I can cook a meal. I can shower and go to bed, and nobody's going to call me. And I'll be able to get a full night's rest and then go to work tomorrow and be productive. So, you know what to do. That's your confirmation. So, yeah, here we go. A couple of things here. I just did a few short messages this time. So I pulled from the Romance Oracle Angels. How funny. So we have, let your friends help you. So ask for and accept support from others. This can go a long way, whether this is a friendship or a romantic thing. If you're ready to leave that person and you don't want to, ask your friends for support and be like, well, what do I do? If you live together, you need to get out of there, then plan for it. Hopefully this isn't a situation where this person is absolutely, going to be mean to you or harm you. If that's the case, get a police escort in there. You could go in there and be like, I really want to get some stuff out, but I'm afraid my ex might hurt me. Do you think that I could have a little protection? And most of the time they can send somebody out. Ooh, I had to think. Okay. I can't get enough water. So yeah, let your friends help you. In a normal case, if this is like a crappy friendship or stuff, like, let your friends help you then, Nobody wants to be ganged up on, but if you set your boundaries and they start violating, it's like, hey, your friends will support you in getting rid of that person. They might even help stand up with you, defend you or whatever if you ask them to. They will support you. They'll be like, hey, we're trying to have friend time right now, so she can't talk to you. If that person gets an attitude, it's like, you know what, then don't ever call again. And sometimes you need that. Your real friends are they're going to fight for you to have your own personal space, and they're going to respect your boundaries and support that. So let them help you. The other one I have is Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. There you go. Those red flags, if you're with somebody in a relationship or dating right now they're showing red flags, cut them loose. Not respecting your boundaries. If they're talking down to you, being abusive in any way, whether that is financial, spiritual, verbal, especially physical, then you need to get out of that way. Get away from any of that. So some red flags are people who, talk over you. They don't hear you. They don't listen to you. If they try to gaslight you, manipulate you in any way, then they're not a good friend. They're not a good partner to have. Cut them loose. And your friends will support you and they'll get you out of there. Even if you have to go stay with another friend or stay with family, do what you have to do. Somebody will help you. There are places you can reach out to if you need to. In this case, I think that this is just merely you cutting somebody off and moving on so you can be happy and independent and free of that mess. And you're going to be a lot happier without it. I did pull some of my, these are my love messages, like my channeled messages that I made myself. I haven't got these out in a while, so for all the new people subscribing, I may have to do a few of these. I'm trying to make more of these decks currently, but it's a work in progress. But this is your confirmation. So the way I'm going to look at these love messages is loving yourself. And like this could be your person's higher self, your higher self, or your friend's higher self, whatever it is. I think in a lot of cases with those of you listening, this might be mutual. If that person's already like bugging you all the time because they're dissatisfied with your level of friendship that you're giving them, which is, to be honest, fair, then they're not happy either. So they might be okay with not being friends, One, it says you deserve better. Your higher self saying you deserve better. Or their higher self is saying you deserve better. So if they're not really in touch with their spiritual journey, their higher self and stuff, there's some lessons they need to learn. And maybe you cutting them off is the lesson they need to realize the world doesn't revolve around them. And they kind of need a reality check. Like if this was, and this could be them, like when you cut them off, I made some mistakes with you. I'm sorry. So this could be your person saying, your higher self or their higher self, whatever resonates with you. These messages just need to reach you. They're channeled. You deserve better. Mistakes were made with you. They're apologizing, but that doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life. You can say sorry, but if they keep doing it, if someone corrects their behavior, you can give them a second chance. That is your prerogative. But it's up to you. In some cases, we should both move on. And that goes for breaking up or getting out of that friendship. So if that's your confirmation you needed to move on, move on. Okay, with that being said, I got to end it on a little bit of a lighter note. Oh, and fuzzy slippers. Peace, love, and yoga pants. So once you get to that 10 of cups and you have that 9 of pentacles energy and you're sitting there with the peace and quiet in your house, you can meditate. You can wear your comfy clothes. You can do whatever you want. So it's going to be peaceful. And you're back to loving yourself and you're feeling it. And you're not feeling so stressed out anymore. It's going to be great, guys. So, take that and run with it. Just enjoy your peace. That's going to be the most important lesson you get out of this, is that you deserve your peace. So thanks for watching, guys. Bye.